Sensual styling, stirring performance, and high levels of luxury are the hallmarks of the Aston Martin DB7, available in coupe and convertible versions. Aston Martin has a long and distinguished history of building exceptional sports cars. In fact, the company has built little else in its 85-year history. The DB7 follows a long line of automobiles that have done everything from win the prestigious Le Mans 24-hour race to a starring role in several James Bond movies. The DB7 is powered by a unique hand-built Aston Martin all-alloy 3.2-liter supercharged engine developing 335 horsepower. Since Aston Martin is now owned by Ford, it's no surprise to find that the DB7 uses a Ford-derived electronic engine control unit, similar to the one you'll find in Formula One race cars. Performance is exceptional for a car that offers such an outstanding level of luxury and refinement. The DB7 will rocket to 60 miles per hour in a scant 5.5 seconds, and top speed is 165 miles per hour. All independent double wishbone suspension adds up to very agile handling at high speeds. Full leather and power everything completes the package, and buyers can even opt for a full set of matched leather luggage, embossed with the Aston Martin logo, that fits neatly in the DB7's trunk. This is an expensive hand-built car, but it offers a unique combination of power, handling, refinement, and luxury for those lucky enough to afford one. Long before many of the most famous automakers ever built a sports car, Aston Martin was winning races on the circuits of Europe. Founded by Lionel Martin, who added the name of a hill climb competition venue, Aston Clinton, to create the famous nameplate. The company goes back to 1913 when it was founded as Bamford & Martin. Aston Martin's claim to fame has always been fast, luxurious, high-priced sports cars. Racing has always been a part of Aston Martin's reason for being, and successes have included a win at the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1959, the year in which Aston Martin also won the World Motor Racing Championship. Aston Martin is now owned by Ford Motor Company, an alliance that has given the small automaker access to some of the world's most sophisticated research and development facilities. Current models include the fast and prestigious DB7, available as either a coupe or a convertible, and powered by a 335 horsepower supercharged twin-cam 6-cylinder engine. Other models include the Vantage, with its stirring 550 horsepower, aided by twin superchargers. Aston Martins are built in the traditional way, one at a time, and by hand. A long-standing Aston Martin tradition has the engine builder's name on a plaque, fitted to the engine before each car is released to its new owner. It's no surprise that Aston Martins have often been the car of choice for mythical secret agent James Bond. Sensual styling, sensual styling. sensual style. When Chevrolet developed its fifth-generation Corvette, they looked back to past versions of the car, but drew on the latest technology to make it the best ever. The 1998 Corvette again uses fiberglass reinforced plastic bodywork, but the new car is 4 times as stiff as the previous generation, which dates back to 1984. The new Corvette has sinuous lines that threaten rivals even when parked, while retaining a family resemblance to earlier versions. Fans of America's sports car legend wouldn't have it any other way. Helping the Corvette rocket to 60 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds is a new aluminum V8 of just under 5.7 liters, with an impressive 345 horsepower. Top speed is estimated at 175 miles per hour, and the transmission is a 6-speed manual. Nimble handling is aided by adjustable fully independent suspension, and ventilated anti-lock disc brakes help keep all this performance in check. The car is also equipped with a long list of high-tech features, including run-flat tires, the pressure of which can be checked on the instrument panel. The Corvette has always offered exotic car performance for a fair price, and the new car continues this tradition, costing little more than its predecessor. General Motors was founded in 1908 and is the world's biggest automaker and the largest global corporation in any field. Today, GM has 7 vehicle-producing divisions in North America, with other GM affiliates spanning the globe from Europe to Asia. Chevrolet has always been the corporation's strongest-selling nameplate, and although Chevrolet has always been linked to affordable family transportation, it also builds one of North America's sports car legends, the Corvette. The first Vette rolled off the assembly line in 1953 and was a big hit right from the start. Every Corvette since has won a place in automotive history, and each model is much coveted by collectors and enthusiasts. The sleek 1998 fifth-generation model, the first all-new Corvette since 1984, remains close to the original concept, with a fiberglass body and a powerful V8 engine. Advanced features add up to a car that will stay competitive into the next millennium. Other Chevrolet nameplates may come and go, but fans can rest assured that there will always be a Corvette in the range. When Chevrolet developed its fifth generation, when Chevrolet developed when Chevrolet Most auto enthusiasts agree that if there's one way to make a great car better, it's to take off the top. And that's exactly what Ferrari did to create the 355 Spider F1. With its dramatic, tastefully restrained Pininfarina styling, it succeeds a long line of V8-powered Ferraris, from the original 308 to the most recent 348. The 355 is the company's most affordable product, but it's still very much a Ferrari in both looks and performance. The power plant is a highly advanced 3.5-liter V8. Boasting 5 valves per cylinder and double overhead cams, it develops a stirring 375 horsepower, providing very snappy performance in a car that tips the scales at just under 3,000 pounds. The 355 gets its F1 designation from an advanced 6-speed sequential transmission, which operates as a semi-automatic, using shifting paddles on the steering wheel, just like a Ferrari Formula One race car. The V8 and its gearbox are mounted just aft of the cockpit, and this location gives the 355 F1 extraordinary balance and weight distribution. This translates into superb handling. In fact, one major U.S. auto magazine rated the 355 F1 the quickest car through a slalom they'd ever tested. Extra body stiffening maintains rigidity in the convertible model, and even the car's underside is smooth for maximum aerodynamic efficiency. Straight-line performance matches handling. The sleek and compact Ferrari 355 Spider F1 will top 60 miles per hour in a brisk 4.6 seconds, and top speed is an equally impressive 183 miles per hour. In auto racing history, Enzo Ferrari is a legend. But few fans realize that he started his career racing Alfa Romeos in the 1920s. In fact, the famed Ferrari prancing horse symbol of an Italian World War I flying ace first appeared on one of Enzo's racing Alfas. It wasn't until the late 1940s that cars bearing the Ferrari name appeared, and they were winners right from the start. Every Ferrari model, including standouts like the Testarossa and Daytona, has its place in automotive history. Today's superb Ferrari road cars continue the tradition. In international auto racing, no rival has endured for as long as Ferrari, and no team has won as many races in such a wide variety of formulas, from Grand Prix events to Le Mans. Ferrari, now part of the giant Fiat empire, remains a top competition contender. Over the years, the world's elite race drivers have piloted Ferraris, from Juan Manuel Fangio in the 1950s to Michael Schumacher today. Ferrari road cars have always been an inspiration to other makers, and new models continue to sell out in the first years of production. Most auto enthusiasts agree that if most auto enthusiasts agree. Most auto enthusiasts agree that if there Most auto enthusiasts agree that if there's one way to make a great car better, it's Over the years, most Ferraris have been two-seaters, but the famed Italian automaker also has a history of building supercars in the 2+2 configuration. Four-seat models like the 1960s 330 GTC are now highly sought after by collectors, but it's been years since Ferrari gave us those two extra places. Ferrari's latest 2+2, the 456M, has been praised by auto critics as one of the most beautiful automobiles ever to bear the famed prancing horse badge. The 456 was styled by famed Italian studio Pininfarina, and it shows in every line. Perfectly proportioned and with no spoilers to mar its lines, it looks superb from every angle. The hood of the 456M is so low, it's hard to believe that a potent 5.5-liter V12 nestles under it, especially one that puts out 436 horsepower. This might be a touring car for four, but it's almost as fast as other Ferrari models built just for two. Top speed is over 186 miles per hour, and 60 miles per hour comes up quickly in just 5.1 seconds. Luxurious leather trim and more roominess than might be imagined in such a sleek Sportster pamper occupants. For the driver, everything is traditional Ferrari, from a highly functional instrument panel to the Maranello automaker's trademark gated gear shift lever. For auto buffs that want to share their taste for fine sports cars with more than one passenger, it's a dream come true. In auto racing history, Enzo Ferrari is a legend. But few fans realize that he started his career racing Alfa Romeos in the 1920s. In fact, the famed Ferrari prancing horse symbol of an Italian World War I flying ace first appeared on one of Enzo's racing Alfas. It wasn't until the late 1940s that cars bearing the Ferrari name appeared, and they were winners right from the start. Every Ferrari model, including standouts like the Testarossa and Daytona, has its place in automotive history. Today's superb Ferrari road cars continue the tradition. In international auto racing, no rival has endured for as long as Ferrari, and no team has won as many races in such a wide variety of formulas, from Grand Prix events to Le Mans. Ferrari, now part of the giant Fiat empire, remains a top competition contender. Over the years, the world's elite race drivers have piloted Ferraris, from Juan Manuel Fangio in the 1950s to Michael Schumacher today. Ferrari road cars have always been an inspiration to other makers, and new models continue to sell out in the first years of production. Over the years, most Ferraris have Over the years, most Ferrari over the years. Ferrari always surprises with new models, and the launch of the beautiful two-seater 550 Maranello, named after the town near Modena where all Ferrari models in history have been developed and built, was no exception. Following the lead of the earlier 2+2-seater 456 GT, the 550 uses a front-engine configuration, something most fans thought Ferrari had left behind with the fabled Daytona Coupe. Under its sleek hood, the 550 Maranello has one of Ferrari's superbly sculpted V12 power plants, a 485 horsepower unit that will take the car to 60 miles per hour in just 4.3 seconds. Give it some room, and the 550 will bear down on 200 miles per hour. A luxurious leather-trimmed cockpit features backlit instruments and Ferrari's traditional gated shift lever for the 6-speed manual transmission. The 550 Maranello signals new directions for Ferrari, with its up-front engine and styling cues that recall fabled cars like the 250 GTO. Current Ferraris are among the most elegant ever produced, and the waiting list for new models just keeps growing. In auto racing history, Enzo Ferrari is a legend. But few fans realize that he started his career racing Alfa Romeos in the 1920s. In fact, the famed Ferrari prancing horse symbol of an Italian World War I flying ace first appeared on one of Enzo's racing Alfas. It wasn't until the late 1940s that cars bearing the Ferrari name appeared, and they were winners right from the start. Every Ferrari model, including standouts like the Testarossa and Daytona, has its place in automotive history. Today's superb Ferrari road cars continue the tradition. In international auto racing, no rival has endured for as long as Ferrari, and no team has won as many races in such a wide variety of formulas, from Grand Prix events to Le Mans. Ferrari, now part of the giant Fiat empire, remains a top competition contender. Over the years, the world's elite race drivers have piloted Ferraris, from Juan Manuel Fangio in the 1950s to Michael Schumacher today. Ferrari road cars have always been an inspiration to other makers, and new models continue to sell out in the first years of production. Ferrari always surprises. Ferrari always surprises with new models, and the launch of the It elevates Grand Touring to a level never before achieved. It bears an impeccable pedigree and introduces exciting state-of-the-art technology. It's the 30th anniversary Falcon GT, and it comes straight from the heart of the team of engineers and designers at Ford and Tickford. This special limited-build vehicle recreates the magic of the Falcon GT legend. It does it with style, sophistication, and refinement. And in the tradition of all Falcon GTs, this model delivers 200 kilowatts of free-flowing V8 power. The letters HO are the most hallowed in the Australian automotive alphabet. In Falcon GT lore, they stood for handling option. On today's GT, there's nothing optional about fine handling. Today, HO stands for high output. as in the Ford US GT-HO 5.0-liter V8. Founded in a Detroit wagon factory in 1903, the same year that the Wright brothers flew at Kitty Hawk, the fledgling Ford Motor Company introduced its very first production automobile, the $850 two-cylinder Model A. Over 93 years later, Ford has produced a staggering 250 million vehicles worldwide and has annual sales which exceed the gross national product of many industrialized nations. Many features which are taken for granted in cars today were first introduced by Ford, including the first one-piece V8 engine, hydraulic shock absorbers, safety glass windshields, bumpers, automatic windshield wipers, tilt beam headlights, and self-starting engines. But the real story of Ford lies in the vehicles which captured the imagination of auto enthusiasts, such as the highly successful GT40 race car, the classic 1955 Thunderbird convertible, and the sensational Mustang series. Ford's presence also reaches into automotive racing, where its engines have led drivers to over 174 World Championship Grand Prix wins. With such a rich history, Ford has proven that it's capable of excellence on both the road and on the track. It elevates grand touring to a level. It elevates. It elevates grand touring to a level never before achieved. HSV's current VT GTS represents the latest offering from HSV's engineering team, from the aggressive styling crafted by hands of TWR's Ian Callum, the man responsible for styling some of Europe's most famous marques, to the massive 5.7-liter V8 with sequential fuel injection. The GTS screams performance. The suspension and seating package of the GTS leaves little compromise in road-going handling. The 18-inch wheels shod with Bridgestone SO2 tires continue to grip when all others have given up. And the performance-oriented Coulson seats hold you in place with their uncompromised side bolster support. The GTS's powertrain delivers 475 Newton-meters at 3,600 RPM through a 6-speed manual transmission with a 4-speed auto optional. An additional option allows the owner to direct his vehicle to the Holden Racing Team, where the engine is optimized and dyno run, allowing the output to be increased to 230 kilowatts and the torque increased to over 510 Newton-meters. Truly providing unmatched performance for a 4-door sedan anywhere in the world. Holden's Special Vehicles represents the latest evolution of a fine lineage of performance Holdens, dating back to the early 1960s, when the S4 variant of the EH Holden was introduced. Launched in late 1987 by Tom Walkinshaw of TWR, HSV has produced over 25,000 vehicles, starting with the radical VL Group A Homolation Special, through to the current VT range of vehicles, including the potent VT GTS with its 5.7-liter engine. HSV is represented on the racetrack by the Holden Racing Team. HRT has dominated local touring car racing, winning the 1,000-kilometer Bathurst Endurance Race twice and securing the Australian Touring Car Championship for Holden in 1996 with Craig Lowndes at the wheel. HSV's current HSV's current HSV's current VT GTS represents the latest offering from HSV's engineering team. The ITEL design Shigera is a stunning interpretation of a road-going Alfa Romeo sports supercar that can also be raced. The road car uses a chassis made from aluminum and carbon fiber with an all-aluminum body. The racing version boasts full carbon fiber bodywork for extra lightness. Power comes from an Alfa Romeo 3-liter twin-turbo V6, putting out a hefty 400 horsepower. A 6-speed sequential gearbox is located between driver and passenger for optimum weight distribution. The Shigera breaks new ground as a mid-engine car by moving away from the single-box shape of other cars of this configuration and embracing dynamic new design influences. Unique front suspension uses just one shock absorber while contributing towards superbly agile handling. Inside, the car features the finest Connolly leather upholstery. The driver's seat is fixed, other than for rake, and pedals and steering column are fully adjustable. This provides for outstanding access and a superb driving position for drivers of all sizes. The Shigera has a top speed of over 185 miles per hour, performance territory most rival supercars can't match. Italy has been home to many of the world's great automotive stylists over the years. But Giorgetto Giugiaro and ITEL Design, the organization he runs with Aldo Mantovani, has always been in the front rank. ITEL Design was founded in 1968 and has created a bewildering number of vehicles, some destined for production and others never to be seen outside of an auto show. Among many radical and significant automobiles penned by ITEL Design were the beautifully retro-styled Bugatti EB112 of 1993 and the BMW V12-based Nazca C2 of 1991, a stunningly fast sports coupe. Landmark production cars have included the original 1974 Volkswagen Golf and Rabbit, the 1972 Lotus Esprit, and the Hyundai Pony. These and many other ITEL Design production cars are still regarded as having made a significant mark on automotive history. The talented studio continues to provide innovative vehicles in every possible configuration for major automakers worldwide. The ITEL Design Shigera is a The iTel design should the iTel Racing cars are supposed to be purely functional rather than beautiful. But nobody told Jaguar's performance division Jaguar Sport that when it set out to design the XJR15. Based on a concept car developed by Jaguar's racing contractor, Tom Walkinshaw Racing or TWR, to evaluate carbon composite materials in high-performance vehicles, the XJR15 stands as one of the most visually attractive race cars ever built. Constructed in limited numbers for sports car competition, the Svelte Racer was built around a 470 horsepower version of Jaguar's mostly alloy 6-liter V12 engine with electronic fuel injection. The power plant is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox. The chassis and body were built in England by TWR using advanced carbon fiber and Kevlar. All other components were also built by TWR, with whom Jaguar had won the Le Mans 24-hour race in 1988 and 1990. The Racing Jag was developed for the one-make Jaguar Intercontinental Challenge Series, run on 3 of the world's most famous circuits in 1991, and with a first prize in the last race of $1 million. Maximum speed in racing trim was 190 miles per hour, and acceleration was blindingly fast. Just 50 XJR15s were built, making this a rare classic with a place in the annals of auto racing. Looking at today's sleek and opulent Jaguars, it's hard to believe that the prestigious British automaker had its origins in manufacturing motorcycle sidecars in 1922. Progressing through what were the subcompacts of the 1930s, Jaguar produced its first serious luxury sportster in 1935. After World War II, the sensational XK120 was launched, along with an advanced 6-cylinder engine that was to become a Jaguar mainstay for decades. In 1961, Jaguar unveiled the timeless E-Type, still considered one of the most beautiful sports cars ever created. Jaguar sedans have always stood apart from lesser automobiles for their grace, style, and wonderful leather and wood interior trim. The sensational 200-plus miles per hour XJ220 placed Jaguar firmly in the ranks of supercar builders. Jaguar's racing successes have been highlighted by many victories over the years at the famed Le Mans 24-hour race. Jaguar's most recent achievement has been to equip all its sedans with silky new V8 engines. There's also talk of a new range of smaller sedans to allow more buyers the delights of Jaguar ownership. Racing cars are supposed to be pure. Racing cars are supposed to be purely Racing cars are supposed to be purely functional rather than beautiful, but nobody Racing car developed as a natural successor to the legendary E-Type Roadster, which ruled the roads in the 1960s and 70s. The Jaguar XK8 offers new Millennium technology in a highly styled package. The XK8 debuted with Jaguar's very first V8 engine, a highly refined and powerful 4-liter unit boasting a stirring 290 horsepower. Expect to top 60 miles per hour in under 6.5 seconds in this one, and head right on up to over 150 miles per hour top speed. Microprocessor control delivers seamless gear shifts for the 5-speed automatic transmission. Convertible and coupe versions are available, with the convertible winning most of the orders. The convertible top kills forever those old tales of leaky British sports cars and can be lowered and raised with just one switch. No Jaguar would be complete without a superlative interior, and the XK8 delivers. Hand-finished walnut enhances dash and door capping, and leather trim is from Connolly of Britain, famed for luxurious upholstery since motoring's early days. Few automobiles offer as much sheer opulence and owner satisfaction as Jaguar, and to this, the XK8 adds exceptional performance and handling. Looking at today's sleek and opulent Jaguars, it's hard to believe that the prestigious British automaker had its origins in manufacturing motorcycle sidecars in 1922. Progressing through what were the subcompacts of the 1930s, Jaguar produced its first serious luxury sportster in 1935. After World War II, the sensational XK120 was launched, along with an advanced 6-cylinder engine that was to become a Jaguar mainstay for decades. In 1961, Jaguar unveiled the timeless E-Type, still considered one of the most beautiful sports cars ever created. Jaguar sedans have always stood apart from lesser automobiles for their grace, style, and wonderful leather and wood interior trim. The sensational 200-plus miles per hour XJ220 placed Jaguar firmly in the ranks of supercar builders. Jaguar's racing successes have been highlighted by many victories over the years at the famed Le Mans 24-hour race. Jaguar's most recent achievement has been to equip all its sedans with silky new V8 engines. There's also talk of a new range of smaller sedans to allow more buyers the delights of Jaguar ownership. Developed as a natural success. Developed as a natural success. Developed as a natural success. Jaguar has discovered a way to make its much-praised V8-powered XK8 sports cars even better. Following a trend set by the speedy and agile Jaguar XJR sedan, the new XKR uses a supercharger to boost performance of the sports car to even higher levels. Available in both coupe and convertible form, the XKR uses the same 4-liter V8 as the XK8, but a supercharger boosts horsepower to 370, enough pep to zip the car to 100 kilometers per hour in a fleet 5.4 seconds, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.2 seconds. Progress through the gears is slick and smooth, thanks to a computer-controlled 5-speed automatic transmission. Top speed is electronically limited to 250 kilometers per hour or 155 miles per hour, or the XKR would likely record an even higher figure. These superbly styled cars need little to enhance their looks, but the XKR package adds a pair of hood louvers for optimum cooling and a subtle trunk lid spoiler to aid high-speed aerodynamics. 18-inch alloy wheels and a bright mesh air intake grille add other visual clues that this is something special even among other high-performance Jaguars. The XKR arrives at a time when Jaguar are celebrating 50 years of XK sports cars that have always boasted a unique combination of good looks and outstanding performance. Looking at today's sleek and opulent Jaguars, it's hard to believe that the prestigious British automaker had its origins in manufacturing motorcycle sidecars in 1922. Progressing through what were the subcompacts of the 1930s, Jaguar produced its first serious luxury sportster in 1935. After World War II, the sensational XK120 was launched, along with an advanced six-cylinder engine that was to become a Jaguar mainstay for decades. In 1961, Jaguar unveiled the timeless E-Type, still considered one of the most beautiful sports cars ever created. Jaguar sedans have always stood apart from lesser automobiles for their grace, style, and wonderful leather and wood interior trim. The sensational 200-plus miles per hour XJ220 placed Jaguar firmly in the ranks of supercar builders. Jaguar's racing successes have been highlighted by many victories over the years at the famed Le Mans 24-hour race. Jaguar's most recent achievement has been to equip all its sedans with silky new V8 engines. There's also talk of a new range of smaller sedans to allow more buyers the delights of Jaguar ownership. Jaguar has discovered a way to Jaguar has Jaguar has discovered with its bold angular lines and swing-up doors, the remarkable Lamborghini Countach is often called the stealth fighter of sports cars. Right from its 1971 debut, this car has been a standout, and no other manufacturer has ever quite matched this Lamborghini's brash styling. Even early versions would rock into 60 miles per hour in less than 5 seconds, and a top speed near 190 miles per hour was all in a day's work for this amazing aluminum-bodied supercar. In 1988, Lamborghini celebrated its 25th anniversary by producing a limited number of Countach models, including some with an advanced 48-valve engine. Still turning heads and making pulses race, few rivals can match its speed and handling. Even Lamborghini's elegant and striking Diablo seems restrained by comparison. Supercars may come and go, but there'll never be another Countach. It seems a long way from tractors to supercars, but that's the route Ferruccio Lamborghini took when he decided in 1962 that it was time for someone to build a better sports car than Ferrari. Many experts concede that the tractor builder did a pretty good job with his automobiles, and few would deny that some of the most stunning cars of the past 30 years have emerged from the Lamborghini factory. From the earliest sports coupe to the current Diablo models, Lamborghinis have always been remarkable automobiles with sensational levels of performance. The 1967 Miura was staggeringly beautiful, technically advanced, and remains amazingly fast despite the passing years, thus retaining its sought-after status at classic car auctions. The 1974 Countach placed Lamborghini firmly among supercar trendsetters with its brash and revolutionary styling, which turns heads even today. The current Diablo, sold as coupe or roadster, continues this love of automotive drama, and future Lamborghinis will reflect the legacy of creative innovation. Lamborghini inspires rather than copies other automakers. With its bold, angular with its bold, angular lines and with its bold, angular line. The Lamborghini Diablo was developed to replace the awesome Countach, and it got the job done superbly. Sleek, ground-hugging styling incorporates the unique upward swinging doors made famous by the Countach. Diablo bodywork is constructed from steel tubing, aluminum alloy, and carbon fiber to create a rigid, lightweight structure which contributes towards the car's startling performance. Located amidships is Lamborghini's superb 5.7-liter V12 engine with 529 horsepower on tap. Expect to take less than 4 seconds to hit 60 miles per hour and reach top speeds of just under 210 miles per hour. Semi-active suspension makes for very agile handling, and Formula One-style Brembo disc brakes stop the scenery blurring on a whim. A luxurious interior includes hip-hugging race car-type seats and suede dash trim. From the cockpit, the driver gets a better view of the outside world than from most rival supercars. Engine noise is well damped, but enough remains of that wonderful V12 howl to thrill even the most jaded sports car fan. Drive a Diablo and expect to be the center of attention wherever you go. It's that kind of car. It seems a long way from tractors to supercars, but that's the route Ferruccio Lamborghini took when he decided in 1962 that it was time for someone to build a better sports car than Ferrari. Many experts concede that the tractor builder did a pretty good job with his automobiles, and few would deny that some of the most stunning cars of the past 30 years have emerged from the Lamborghini factory. From the earliest sports coupe to the current Diablo models, Lamborghinis have always been remarkable automobiles with sensational levels of performance. The 1967 Miura was staggeringly beautiful, technically advanced, and remains amazingly fast despite the passing years, thus retaining its sought-after status at classic car auctions. The 1974 Countach placed Lamborghini firmly among supercar trendsetters with its brash and revolutionary styling, which turns heads even today. The current Diablo, sold as coupe or roadster, continues this love of automotive drama, and future Lamborghinis will reflect the legacy of creative innovation. Lamborghini inspires rather than copies other automakers. The Lamborghini Diablo was developed to replace the The Lamborghini Diablo was developed to the Lamborghini. Back in the 1950s, British Lister Jaguar Specials were a force to reckon with on the tracks of Europe. But the Lister name disappeared for many years until the recent debut of the Lister Storm GTL supercar. Following the trend set by rival supercar manufacturers, the 2+2 Storm is a no-expense-spared exotic sports car with every high-tech feature possible and a price tag to match. Built entirely of composites, with a carbon Kevlar structure and carbon fiber body panels, the Storm is super light and very rigid. Like the Lister models of old, the Storm uses a Jaguar engine, a 7-liter V12 developing a mighty 594 horsepower. Mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox, the power plant produces 0 to 60 mile-per-hour times in the 4-second range and a top speed in excess of 200 miles per hour. 100 miles per hour can be topped in just over 8 seconds. Technical highlights include a bag-type fuel cell, similar to that used in out-and-out race cars, and 3-piece alloy wheels. The super sleek Storm boasts a cockpit layout that would shame a Le Mans racer, and there's lots of luxury and comfort too. A limited production automobile, built to the highest standards of performance and quality, the Storm GTL takes its place among the very best in its class, and in some respects, sets new standards. Brian Lister developed the first Lister Sports racer in 1954, and the cars chalked up numerous wins throughout the 1950s. In the history of auto racing, the name Lister will always be linked with the outstanding Lister Jaguar competition cars, driven with great success by legendary Scottish driver Jim Clark during the 1959 season. Clark, judged one of the finest race drivers of all time, won 13 races that year with the Lister. Later, Clark joined the Lotus team and went on to win everything from the Formula One World Championship to the Indianapolis 500. Lister didn't survive the 50s as a race car builder, but the name was revived during the 1980s when a new car was designed to take part in a race series for Jaguar sports cars. For a time, Lister built high-performance modified Jaguars under the guidance of Brian Lister and Lawrence Pierce, and this led to the design of an all-new supercar, the Lister Storm in 1991. A newer Storm, the GTL, was officially launched in 1998 and is aimed at the heart of the world's supercar market, targeting exotic rivals from Britain, Germany, and Italy. The carbon fiber Storm GTL uses a Jaguar engine, just like Jimmy Clark's Lister did back in 1959. This time, though, it's a potent 7-liter V12, developing a healthy 595 horsepower. Back in the 1950s, British Lister Jaguar Specials were a force to... Back in the 1950s, Back in the 19... It can sometimes take years to develop a series-winning race car, but not for the AMG engineers who developed the sensational Mercedes CLK GTR. From the initial go-ahead by Mercedes-Benz to serious track testing, it took 128 days. An astonishing feat considering the complexity of today's racing cars for international competition. The AMG Mercedes racing team is rightly proud of this achievement, especially since the CLK GTR won the tough International FIA GT Series in its debut season. The CLK GTR, based on Mercedes' elegant new CLK Coupe, uses an advanced carbon fiber lightweight monocoque. Power plant is a 6-liter V12, similar to the one used in Mercedes' S-Class luxury sedan, but tuned to produce a thundering 600 horsepower. Top speed is in excess of 200 miles per hour. Immense cornering power is aided by double wishbone suspension, front and rear. Formula One-style carbon fiber vented disc brakes keep the rapid CLK GTR under control. Few race cars have been developed as quickly as this one, and even fewer have been as successful right out of the gate. Mercedes-Benz dates back to the 19th century, when the old Benz company created one of the world's first automobiles, a fragile-looking three-wheeler in 1886. The name Mercedes was inspired by the daughter of an auto dealer who helped save the firm during a bad spell by ordering a large batch of cars. Famed Mercedes models have included stylish sports cars of the 1930s, stately sedans, the legendary Gullwing, and many other landmark automobiles. Today, the Mercedes reputation is held high by models like the luxurious S-Class sedan and newer products like the SLK Sports Convertible and M-Class 4x4. Mercedes dominated Grand Prix racing in the 1930s with its powerful and immaculately prepared cars, and again in the 1950s. Mercedes is now back in racing, supplying engines to both Formula One and IndyCar teams, as well as debuting their CLK GTR in the 1997 FIA GT racing season. Following its pioneering heritage, Mercedes is now building prototype vehicles powered by fuel cells rather than combustion engines. Fuel cells used on space shuttles produce zero emissions and point the way to future transportation. It can sometimes take years to develop a series-winning It can sometimes take years. It can some. Mercedes-Benz has been building outstanding sports cars almost since the dawn of motoring, and many of them are highly prized at expensive collectibles. Mercedes' current flagship Sportster is the superb SL600, one of a tiny group of 12-cylinder supercars tempting well-heeled buyers on the world's markets. The silky power plant behind the legendary three-pointed star is a 6-liter V12, developing a healthy 394 horsepower. The highly advanced 5-speed automatic transmission mated to this aluminum power unit uses a computer to adapt itself to a particular driver style. Developed more for the ultimate in refinement rather than blinding performance, the SL600 is still capable of topping 60 miles per hour in close to 6 seconds. Top speed is limited to around 160 miles per hour, following an agreement among German automakers not to get involved in a top speed war. Even demanding drivers would find performance like this more than enough to handle. Naturally, the leather-trimmed SL600 has every luxury and convenience item possible, along with some unique safety features, like a rollover bar that springs into place automatically in the event of an accident. Mercedes-Benz dates back to the 19th century, when the old Benz company created one of the world's first automobiles, a fragile-looking three-wheeler in 1886. The name Mercedes was inspired by the daughter of an auto dealer who helped save the firm during a bad spell by ordering a large batch of cars. Famed Mercedes models have included stylish sports cars of the 1930s, stately sedans, the legendary Gullwing, and many other landmark automobiles. Today, the Mercedes reputation is held high by models like the luxurious S-Class sedan and newer products like the SLK Sports Convertible and M-Class 4x4. Mercedes dominated Grand Prix racing in the 1930s with its powerful and immaculately prepared cars, and again in the 1950s. Mercedes is now back in racing, supplying engines to both Formula One and IndyCar teams, as well as debuting their CLK GTR in the 1997 FIA GT racing season. Following its pioneering heritage, Mercedes is now building prototype vehicles powered by fuel cells rather than combustion engines. Fuel cells used on space shuttles produce zero emissions and point the way to future transportation. Mercedes-Benz has been Mercedes-Benz has been building outstanding Mercedes-Benz has been It looks as though it comes from Modena or Turin, but this sleek supercar with the Italian looks actually hails from Dorset on England's south coast. The Spectre R42 was developed to take a bite out of a market dominated by continental rivals. Styling is incredibly sleek, and many fans are saying that Spectre has beaten the Italian masters at their own game. With super light composite bodywork and a potent 350 horsepower Ford Cobra-based 4.6-liter twin-cam 32-valve all-alloy V8, the R42 achieves what every supercar manufacturer seeks: lots of power and minimal weight. The R42 will zip up to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, and top speed is electronically limited to 175 miles per hour, more than enough for even the boldest drivers. Agile handling is aided by a sophisticated race car type fully independent suspension, and big all-round ventilated disc brakes help keep all that power under control. A stylish cockpit that combines luxury touches with outstanding convenience will delight any sports car fan, and full instrumentation is featured. The R42 has everything a serious driving enthusiast could want: looks, performance, prestige, and a healthy dose of good old-fashioned driver satisfaction. Spectre was founded in 1995 by a group of businessmen and racing drivers who decided that the time had come to recreate a car along the lines of the famed Ford GT40, which won Le Mans 4 years in a row in the 1960s. The result was the Spectre R42, which drew inspiration from the classic GT40, now a cult status automobile that sells for astronomical prices. The R42 used the GT40's basic design premise, but added modern racing car technology involving ample use of composite materials and a state-of-the-art Ford 32-valve aluminum V8 engine. Spectre found that the R42 was attracting exotic car owners looking for something even more exciting and moved on to develop an advanced concept for an all-new supercar, the R45. The prototype R45 was launched at the 1997 London Motor Show by Desmond Llewellyn, the actor who plays Q in the James Bond movies, and drew rave reviews from the world's automotive press. Lighter, sleeker, and more aerodynamic than the R42, the new car proved to be just as fast as it looks in early track testing by five-time Le Mans winner Derek Bell. One feature not found in most supercars is a luggage compartment big enough to take 2 sets of golf clubs. The production R45 is scheduled to make its debut at the 1998 London Motor Show. Spectre cars are built at a purpose-built plant in Poole, Dorset, on England's south coast. It looks as though it comes from Modena. It looks as though it comes from Modena. It looks as though it comes from Modena or Turin, but this sleek supercar